The sunlight streaming through the tall windows of the Connecticut mansion felt suddenly cold as my grandmother's words sliced through the air. "You get nothing, Paige." Her frail hand slammed down on the armrest of her wheelchair with surprising force, causing her gold bracelets to jangle discordantly. 32 relatives shifted in their seats, a collective intake of breath rippling through the room. My cousin Julian's smug smile bloomed across his face as he leaned forward in anticipation. The leather portfolio in the lawyer's hands, containing the estate documents I'd just been publicly excluded from, suddenly seemed to pulse in my field of vision. What my grandmother couldn't see from her position of judgment was the wireless heart monitor discreetly attached beneath her cashmere sweater, the same cutting-edge device I had arranged for her last year when her cardiologist said her condition required constant surveillance. The soft, rhythmic beeping was audible only to those closest to her, a sound paid for by the same person she had just disowned. "My name is Paige, I'm 31, and I'm the founder of a non-profit network. This is the story of how I transformed my family's definition of success without sacrificing my own." 2 weeks ago, the message had arrived with the force of a royal decree: family meeting Sunday at 2 p.m. Attendance mandatory. My grandmother, Lillian Harrington, had always had a flair for the dramatic, but something about this summons felt different. Ominous. The formal email had gone to everyone in the family, with individualized follow-up calls to ensure no one could claim they hadn't received the message. My mother had called 3 separate times, her voice increasingly anxious. "What did you do to upset Grandma?" she'd asked repeatedly. "Nothing," I'd answered honestly each time. "I haven't done anything." But that was precisely the problem, wasn't it? In my family's eyes, I'd done nothing. No prestigious corporate position, no 6-figure salary, no husband, no children, no obvious signs of the success that the Harrington name demanded. Just my little charity work that I deliberately never discussed at family gatherings. Now, sitting in Grandma's meticulously decorated living room, surrounded by cousins in business suits and designer dresses who were practically vibrating with anticipation, I understood. This wasn't just a family meeting. This was my public execution. "Paige has wasted her life," Grandma continued, her voice stronger than it had been in months as she gestured at me with a trembling hand. "She's 31 years old with no career, no prospects, no ambition. While her cousins built successful lives, she's been playing at charity work for a decade." Julian's smirk widened from across the room. He was a hedge fund manager who had explained cryptocurrency to me last Christmas, as if I were 5 years old. Next to him, my cousin Victoria, a corporate attorney, nodded with such vigorous approval that her pearl earrings swung violently. "I've watched each of you build something meaningful," Grandma continued, her gaze sweeping around the room like a spotlight. "Julian manages billions in investments. Victoria just made partner at her firm. David runs 3 medical practices. Rebecca's restaurant won a James Beard Award." Her pale blue eyes, still sharp despite her illness, fixed on each cousin in turn. "You've all made me proud." She turned back to me, her expression hardening. "Paige works at some women's shelter, making poverty wages, living in a tiny apartment, driving a 15-year-old car. She's thrown away every advantage this family gave her." The room fell silent except for the soft beep of Grandma's heart monitor, the same monitor I had installed last year when her cardiologist said she needed 24-hour observation. The same monitor connected to the private medical database that only I had access to, tracking every medication, every treatment, every subtle change in her condition. "So today, I'm announcing my estate plans," Grandma said, her voice carrying the weight of final judgment. "Everything will be divided among my grandchildren who've proven themselves worthy: Julian, Victoria, David, Rebecca, and the others." Her eyes narrowed as they landed on me again. "Paige gets nothing." The room erupted in applause. My aunts and uncles beamed. My cousins looked smugly satisfied. My mother, sitting in the corner, was crying quietly. "Grandma," I said softly, standing up. "I understand." "Do you?" Her eyes were cold. "Do you understand what a disappointment you've been? Your grandfather built a fortune from nothing. We gave you every opportunity, the best schools, the right connections, seed money for any business venture you wanted, and you chose to waste it all on charity work." "Someone has to help people," I said quietly. "Let other people help people," Grandma snapped. "People without your advantages. You were supposed to build something, create wealth, continue the family legacy. Instead, you're serving soup to homeless people. We run comprehensive programs, I corrected gently. Job training, mental health services, housing placement, legal aid. I don't care about the details of your hobby, Grandma interrupted. It's not a real career. You make what, $30,000 a year? How do you even survive? I manage, I said. She lives in a studio apartment in a terrible neighborhood, Victoria offered helpfully. I saw it once. 600 square feet, one bathroom. Exactly, Grandma said triumphantly. While your cousins own homes, build wealth, create something lasting. Paige, you're a cautionary tale about wasted potential. I could have defended myself. Could have explained that the women's shelter was actually the Harrington Foundation, a non-profit I'd founded at 21 with money from my first startup exit. Could have mentioned that we operated 17 facilities across 6 states, serving over 10,000 women and children annually. Could have told them our annual operating budget was $47 million. But I'd learned over the years that my family didn't actually want to know. They had decided who I was, and information that contradicted their narrative was dismissed as exaggeration or delusion. I love you, Grandma, I said instead, crossing the room to kiss her cheek. I hope you have many more years ahead of you. I'm sure you do, she said coldly. Now that you know there's no inheritance coming, you'll have to figure out how to survive on your charity wages. I smiled and returned to my seat. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from my assistant, board meeting in an hour. The hospital expansion proposal needs your approval. Also, Mrs. Harrington's care coordinator is asking about Q1 payment, $184,700 for medical expenses. Standard authorization. My assistant had been briefed about the family meeting timing and knew to message only for urgent matters during this window. I typed back quickly, approve the expansion. Yes to Q1 payment. We'll call after this meeting ends. Grandma's lawyer, a stern man named Marcus Bennett, cleared his throat. Mrs. Harrington, we should review the actual documents. I need to verify some final details. What details? Grandma asked. It's simple. Split everything among the grandchildren except Paige. Yes, but there are some items in your financial records that require clarification. Marcus was pulling papers from his portfolio, his expression troubled. I need to understand the source of certain payments. What payments? Your medical expenses over the past 3 years. Marcus spread documents across the coffee table. Your insurance covers standard care, but the experimental treatments, the private nurses, the specialized equipment, those total approximately $2.4 million. The bills show they were paid in full by an anonymous donor through a medical trust. The room went quiet. Grandma frowned. Anonymous donor? I assumed the insurance covered everything. No. Insurance covered perhaps 20%. The rest was paid through something called the Harrington Medical Trust. Marcus pulled out another document. I've been trying to identify the trust's founder for weeks. It's been paying your bills since you were first diagnosed with congestive heart failure 3 years ago. Who set up the trust? Uncle Robert asked. That's what I needed to clarify today. Marcus looked around the room. The trust requires the founder's permission to disclose their identity. I sent a formal request last week to the legal entity administering the trust. My phone buzzed again. A message from my legal team, my lawyer, Marcus Bennett, received authorization to disclose the medical trust details. Proceed? I typed back, yes. Marcus's phone chimed. He read something, and his expression shifted from confusion to understanding. Then he looked directly at me. The Harrington Medical Trust was established 3 years ago by Ms. Paige Harrington. She is the sole donor and administrator. He paused, letting the information sink in. According to these records, Ms. Harrington has personally funded all of Mrs. Lillian Harrington's medical expenses that weren't covered by insurance, a total of $2.4 million over the past 3 years. The room went completely silent. All eyes turned to me. That's impossible, Julian said finally. Paige works at a shelter. She makes nothing. Actually, Marcus continued, consulting his tablet, Ms. Harrington is the founder and executive director of the Harrington Foundation, which operates 17 facilities in 6 states with an annual budget of $47 million. She founded it at age 21 with proceeds from the sale of her first tech startup, a financial planning app she developed during college that was acquired by a major tech company for $22 million. Tech startup? Victoria echoed, her voice hollow. No, I said firmly. Don't change anything. Split it among everyone as you planned. But you saved my life. You've been supporting me without asking for anything in return. Exactly. Without asking for anything in return. I don't want your money, Grandma. I want you to understand that success isn't just about wealth and status. It's about impact, about making people's lives better, about using your resources to help others. But I called you a failure in front of the whole family. You were wrong, I said simply. But I'm not going to punish you for it. I'm going to do what I've always done, take care of the people I love, whether they appreciate it or not. The room was silent, except for the beeping of Grandma's monitor and my mother's quiet crying. Finally, Uncle Robert spoke. Paige, how can we help? The foundation. What do you need? I looked at him in surprise. You want to help? We've been idiots, he said bluntly. Self-absorbed, materialistic idiots who couldn't see past our own narrow definition of success. You've been doing something extraordinary, and we've been mocking you for it. So yes, how can we help? I pulled up the Foundation's website on my phone. We always need volunteers, board members, donors, people willing to use their professional skills to support our programs. I'll serve on the board, Victoria said immediately. And my firm can provide pro bono legal services. Our hedge fund has a charitable giving program, Julian added. I'll make sure the foundation is a priority. One by one, my cousins offered their support, their expertise, their connections, their resources. The same people who had applauded my disinheritance 30 minutes ago were now falling over themselves to help. Grandma was still holding my hand, tears falling freely down her lined face. How do you not hate us? Because hate takes energy, I said. And I'd rather use my energy to help people who actually need it. Besides, Grandma, you taught me something important today. What's that? That unconditional love means loving people even when they don't see your value. Even when they call you a failure, even when they cut you out of their will, you love them anyway because that's what love is. That's not what I meant to teach you, she whispered. I know, but it's what I learned. Marcus quietly packed up his papers. Mrs. Harrington, would you like me to schedule another meeting to revise the will? Grandma looked at me. What do you want, Paige? I want you to get better, I said. I want you to have more years with your family. I want you to understand that the granddaughter working at a women's shelter is doing work that matters, even if it doesn't come with a corner office and a 6-figure salary. 7-figure, my mother said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. Paige, your salary from the foundation is public record for non-profits over a certain size. I've been researching this since I suspected there was more to your work than you let on. You make $180,000 a year, plus the wealth from your startup exit. You're probably worth more than everyone in this room combined. Net worth isn't the same as self-worth, I said. I learned that from Grandma. She taught me that what you do with your life matters more than what you accumulate. I just applied that lesson differently than she expected. Grandma pulled me down into a hug, her frail arms surprisingly strong. I'm proud of you, she whispered. I should have said it years ago. I'm so incredibly proud of you. I know, Grandma, I said. I've always known. That wasn't entirely true. I'd spent years wondering if I was making the right choices, if my family would ever see the value in my work. But in that moment, holding my grandmother while my family looked on with new understanding, it felt true enough. The meeting broke up slowly. Cousins approached me one by one, apologizing, asking questions about the foundation, offering genuine interest for the first time in years. My mother hugged me for a long time, whispering apologies I told her weren't necessary. As I was leaving, Marcus caught my arm. Ms. Harrington, for what it's worth, what you did, paying her bills anonymously, not seeking credit, continuing to care for her even after today. That's extraordinary. It's what family does, I said. No, he said gently. It's what good people do. Your family is lucky to have you. I said goodbye to everyone and walked out to my car. The drive back to my apartment took about 40 minutes, giving me time to process everything that had happened at the meeting. I drove back to my 600-square-foot apartment in my 15-year-old Honda, thinking about perception and reality, about success and failure, about love and pride. My phone rang as I pulled into my parking spot. Grandma's number. Paige, it's me. Hi, Grandma. I just wanted to say the estate lawyer said you've been paying for everything, not just medical bills. You've been covering the home care nurses, the meal service, the transportation to appointments, everything. I wanted you to be comfortable, I said simply. Why? After how I treated you. Because you're my grandmother. Because you raised me. Because you taught me that family takes care of each other. You just forgot that lesson applied to me too. She was quiet for a moment. Will you come visit me tomorrow? Not for a family meeting. Just you and me. I'd like that. Bring your laptop. I want to see everything. The foundation, the shelters, the programs. I want to understand what you've built. Okay. And Paige, thank you for saving my life. For loving me when I didn't deserve it, for being a better person than I ever taught you to be. You taught me more than you know, I said. Good and bad. I just learned to keep the good parts and leave the rest. And one more thing, she added quietly. Marcus is coming over tomorrow afternoon to change my will. I've decided to leave a significant portion of my estate to your foundation. The rest will still be divided among my other grandchildren, but I want to support the work you're doing. Thank you, Grandma. That means a lot, I replied, feeling a sense of closure. After we hung up, I sat in my car for a while, watching the lights come on in the apartments around me. My building wasn't fancy, but it was home. And more importantly, it was 2 blocks from the foundation's downtown office where I'd spent the morning helping a mother of 3 find emergency housing. Success, I'd learned, wasn't about impressing your family. It wasn't about corner offices or trust funds or appearing at the right social events. Success was knowing that somewhere tonight, a woman was sleeping in a safe bed because of the work I did. A child was eating dinner because of the programs I funded. A family was rebuilding because of the services I provided. That was worth more than any inheritance. That was worth everything.